Minister of Education, Arts and Culture last week announced a delay in the grade 12 results release. Against this, that the ministry has also asked the universities to consider delaying their registration for the first-year intakes. For this development, we are now joined by Ms. Clementine Tsumis Garises, the Acting Executive Director at the Ministry. Good morning and welcome to GMN.
Good morning.
Very well. This delay, it was of course announced last week. Can you please provide us with information that led to the delay?
Yes, the outbreak of COVID-19 resulted into early closure of schools.
Mm-hmm.
We closed off the schools in March until May. 3rd June we started for grade 12s and 11s, which are the two grades we are talking about mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And this prolonged lockdown contributed to a backlog in teaching and learning.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to give more time to schools to catch up with the backlog in order to prepare the learners properly to be able to sit for their final exams competently.
Yeah.
Hence, the delay that was decided on is for 1 month only. Normally, exams used to start in October.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, we started in November.
Mm.
And if we have delayed it for a month, obviously, it has a ripple effect on the release date of exams. Therefore, the results will be released only in
In February?
In February.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So, and we saw that you, this has an impact, of course, on the universities, local universities, even international universities, which have registration dates closer out in the year, like January or February. What are the negotiations like, especially with the local universities that you might have leverage with?
Yeah, the good thing is two of our main universities, the big ones, NUST and UNAM, are part of the examination board. Mm-hmm. So right from the onset, they take part in the decision making with regard to examinations. So they knew that this is coming. Then the second thing is the two line ministries had been involved in consultations. They talked about this at the highest level of the ministers, and they discussed it. And for the higher Ministry of Education, as well as the Ministry of Higher Education, to take it up with their stakeholders and with the institutions for them to prepare accordingly and to adjust their period of registration accordingly.
For example, maybe starting with the senior students and then because usually it's the first years, and then you go to the senior students the next year. Okay.
It can be that way. It's also, the students also apply, register beforehand, and they get provisional acceptance letters, which might be of assistance to the universities to really continue without much interruption.
Yeah. And for the universities, for example, in South Africa and elsewhere, are there any provisions that can be given from the ministry to the students to allow them to provisionally register with, I don't know, with some form of documentation?
Yes, you see, COVID-19 is global. It affects all the countries. And all the educational institutions are affected and should adjust. The good thing is tertiary institutions need the candidates. They need the candidates for their 2021 intake.
Yeah.
And if any institution decides the results are not out, we will cut them out. They are also losing out. So it's a partnership, and we talk about that. So we are on the same platforms with our colleagues, especially in South Africa. And we talked about it. We know what their plans are. So February, if we can push,
good enough.
Yeah, it's still soon enough. It's still soon
Because
enough.
I remember getting my results, my grade 12 results, on the 20th of December. So by Christmas, I already knew I was going to university. Now we're on the 28th, 8th-day delay, and then you're told, even in January, you're not going to go. You're only going to know in February. We hope that really works out well for the universities and so forth.
Yes.
Now, we know that in the meantime, we are experiencing the second wave, and schools are about to start in 2 weeks' time. What is the ministry's plan?
The school calendar is out and it's known out in the public. The ministry is following the COVID-19 related developments with keen interest because of our children. And if the situation warrants any different decision, then the ministry in good time will inform the public and especially the parents to take note of. But thus far, we are continuing, keeping the plan B, thinking about it, monitoring how the situation is unfolding.
I was in conversation with the Minister of Health, and he said he does not advise us to change the curriculum. Life must go on, and we must learn to live with COVID. We must just adjust and adhere to the regulations which are put up in place.
Fully agreed. Fully agreed.
And let's talk about the marking process itself. How are the teachers doing? Are they at least not overworked, because now they are trying to rush to meet that deadline because of the month delay which was there?
Yeah, the marking process is, as I'm saying, a process. You know, it's not just you get the scripts and you start to mark. It's planned for. Every marker has got a quota to complete in a day that is checked so that you have enough time for one script. In the past, we used to do marking in 2 to 3 venues only. This time around, we have 5 venues to adhere to the protocols of safety, and we have provided all the necessary equipment. And we are urging our markers to consider each script as the future of a child.
Correct, definitely.
It's a person that they are handling because it's a future. So we are trusting and monitoring and controlling to curb any irregularities in that regard.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. It seems